own Mu7 claims that they brought peace, but the kind of peace where you have to see an AK-47 at every turn is not peace, as we have been told that peace is not just the absence of war, but presence of justice and dignity for everybody. We cannot be at peace when we are not free. So those guns are keeping people oppressed. Those guns are meant to intimidate people.
Breaking news, Bobi Wine kyakoze Mu7 South Africa kikabwe full speech yonna njikuletera wabula nga sinnabakwa ate wano alabudde strategy mpya ajagenda okubanga akozesa okujjako Mu7 video eno jimpereka like subscribe nga bannaye olwensonga ate byonna ebiri South Africa ogenda kubanga obifuna wano ku Wonderboy UG. Bobi Wine agamba Mu7 wakugenda omwaka nga tegunnaggwako.
People in South Africa should take a walk around Africa. They will learn two things among others. One, that they are Africans. And that will teach them to be friendly to other Africans, especially those that were friendly to them during the struggle against apartheid. And secondly, they will learn not to take for granted what they have, because if you don't stand up, nobody's going to see you. And if you don't speak out, nobody is going to hear you. Yeah. So get involved. Finally, not only to South Africans, but to all Africans, please know that your freedom is not isolated to you. Let us remember the words of Kwame Nkrumah that Africa cannot be free unless all of Africa is free.
His Excellency Bobi Wine ngayogerako ensi yonna agambye nti akikulu nnyo mwenna okumanya nti eddembe lyo oba olyetaagira ddala nti come what may olina okuyimuka osobole okubanga oyogera such that abakuwulira bategere nti oli wamabega wa bigambo byo ebyokwagala eddembe. Obugambe Bobi Wine naye nga abajolo ya politika bakugamba nti basobola okusabaza mu bitundu by'eggwanga ebisinga. Bobi Wine kankwe speech ye full speech ogenda kumbulira omusajja ono ekyaddala oluzungu yalusoma yalutegera ate muyivu nnyo. Wulira ngeri gyaddamu ebibuuzo naye gwe wulira.
And the world cannot be free. I mean, you cannot be free unless the rest of the world is free. While you look at the plight of the people of South Africa, the black people of South Africa, look at the plight of the people of Congo, look at the plight of the people of Sudan, the people of Gaza, the people of Ukraine, and all over the world. Let us stand for humanity.
Yes. I need to squeeze one.
We have elections, we have rituals, because we cannot claim it's an election where the main opposition challenger, where the main challenger is arrested on the nomination date, where the main challenging party is not allowed to organize or to move around the country. We had what we call the election in a full blackout. The internet was switched off, or radios and TVs were switched off. International observers, notably the European Union and United States observers, were blocked from entering the country. You know, we went into an election where all of my campaign team was rounded up on an island and detained. Many of them remained in prison on the present day. So we cannot say we had an election, we had a ritual, but whatever it is, we challenge Mu7, and that messed up election, still, he could not win the election. They could not count the votes. They just came up with numbers wherever they got them from and announced a winner.
It's interesting. You arrive in South Africa at a time when we've just come out of an election.
Yeah.
We're busy forming the 7th administration of our country. What do you observe about South Africa's democracy?
Wow. Clearly, South Africa is not where it wants to be, but it's definitely where many of us desire to at least reach. You know, here people are voting issues. Back then, we are looking for a vote. We are looking for a voice. We are struggling for our vote to matter. So there are different things. Of course, we know that many people take for granted what they have. If I was in South Africa, I would be super glad. The young people in South Africa sometimes take it for granted that they don't even go out to vote. Young people in Uganda are struggling for the opportunity to vote and to have their voice count. So South Africa, with its challenges, is definitely where many of African countries, and particularly in Uganda, desire to be.
We say a lot of the time on the continent, and you say Uganda's
It would be more helpful for the people of South Africa and Africa to understand that General Mu7 took power in 1986 when I was only 4 years old, and he has been in power since then. Having said, and notably so, that the problem of Africa in general and Uganda in particular are the leaders that overstand power, but he has been extending his hold on to power. Yes, we had a constitution, but it was first amended forcefully by him in 2005, removing term limits. We initially had term limits, but when he had, outlived all his terms, he changed the constitution in 2005. So when time came and he was held back by age, that was in 2018, again, he, using the military, of course, raided the parliament. You must have noticed the world saw with surprise and shock a fight that ensued in the parliament when the military raided the parliament. Ultimately, forcefully again, the constitution was changed to allow General Mu7 to rule forever. That is exactly what prompted me to challenge this guy, because to challenge him now, we needed a protest vote, and that could only come from the young people. It should be noted that Uganda is the second youngest country in the world, with more than 85% under the age of 35. We have a country where more than 85% have never seen another president. Well, I was 4 years when he came in, so I can also claim I've never seen another president. That is how it has been in Uganda. So that pushed me to challenge the guy, and indeed, we challenged him, and the world knows that we defeated General Mu7, although he held on to power by force.
It's interesting because you talk about, running for that election where the president of Uganda essentially said, well, I'm going to stay in power and will reform the constitution to allow me to do so. Let's talk about free and fair elections in Uganda. Where do you rate elections in Uganda?
Mina shaitan rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim alhamdulillah rabbil alamin ze ajimiti omusomi w'ekitabo era omusomi w'edduwa nkosa kyoto kino ekyoto kino kiba kitagombolola lwaliro ku kyoto kuno kunyambira abantu bange buli muntu yenna alina ekizibu kye ojja ku kyoto kino n'osula akabani nenkusabira buli alina ekizibu naddala mu abali e Bulaaya nompereza amanya nenga sula mu kyoto kino nenkusembera edduwa nenkujjako ebizibu n'ebiba bikusumbuye walemererwa mirimu ki ddala mu abali e Bulaaya abali mu nsi muno mu Uganda abalemeddwa okufuna visa nantegeeza eri abaana Adamu enkozesa nkofu ku kyoto kuno bamala okusindika enkofu eyo negenda ebanja amabanja ge babanjiza gonna bwe yalema okufuna okuweebwa ajimiti nkozesa amazzi ku nnyanja kuno kumulengera ku mazzi wano ajimiti nga bwenyimidde olwaleero ngokumasira abaana Adamu bompereza ebiwandiiko byonna bye bompereza ng'oli e Bulaaya mbikwata nembizinga nemwandika kapapula nembisula mu nnyanja nensaba Allah gwensinza asumulule ebyo bye babikulemeredde awa visa agifuna alemedde ofuna omusajja omulungi amufuna sangeba ku namba 07528871515